Welcome to the rock show, your special quarantine self-isolation rock show. But can't miss the shades. Welcome to the rock show with ASM. Today we have a great guest joining us from New York, and a man who needs no introduction, Mr. Diwas Gurung. Dai, welcome to the show.
Hello, yeah, thanks. Glad to be here. Yeah,
It's a crazy time to be alive, uh, I guess. And
yeah.
how's it going? First of all, how's the situation there in New York?
New York, I mean, as a whole, it's a really bad situation. As you know, as people can see in news, you can see in the news. I mean, personally, I'm okay. I mean, me and my wife, we've been quarantining for more than 2 weeks at this point. I think almost like 3 weeks, and we started taking it seriously a little bit before like everything in the shit hit the fan.
No.
So like I don't really travel much for work. Like I do everything from home, so that's different from it. Yeah, we've just been staying inside, just watching the news, trying not to watch too much news.
Trying not to.
Uh,
Yes.
yeah, and just following up what's happening here, what's happening in Kathmandu, what's happening in Nepal in general, and just still like for me, like my schedule actually hasn't changed that much, apart from going out, because I usually am in my apartment. Anyways, the producer lifestyle is like that.
Producer lifestyle. Meme आजकल लाउँछ नि त्यहाँ फेसबुकमा the producer lifestyle. Producer during quarantine, after quarantine, all सबै चाहिँ आफ्नै डेस्कमा हुने.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like circling back to what you said, right? So before the shit hit the fan, you were already taking precautions and staying home. Is that basically what happened? Is people just thought it's not going to come here, it's not going to happen to us? Is that what happened there?
Yeah, I think I mean it's more credit to my wife more than me. She was more concerned about. So here the general feeling was like it was just like the flu, and it's like a severe, like a more severe form of flu. Like it's not too bad. People was getting concerned like of what was happening in China, Korea. Still like until it happens to you, nobody
Yeah.
takes it seriously. And New York, it just went off like an explosion because people come here from all over the world, and it's a lot of densely packed neighborhoods, and the living situation is also like a lot of families sharing houses, especially the Queens. Like it's
Close apartments and everything.
yeah, Taylor. So it was like a lot of bad things, a combination of a lot of bad things at once. They were, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Very, very sad to hear a city
Yeah.
that's this vibrant and sunny and this diverse. Tara, again, that city has seen a lot of things happen. This world has seen a lot of ththings happen.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Just for us in our generation, it's like the first thing in our lifetime. Like
Yeah.
like people in like millennials, it's a, it's a big deal for us. Yeah, like millennials and unders. Yeah.
Yeah, तपाईँले एकदम राम्रो कुरा गर्नुभयो यो जस्तो हामीले भुइँचालो नआइन्जेलसम्म भुइँचालोमा के गर्ने आफ्टर सक के हुन्छ के पनि थाहा थिएन.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had to go through it. So I think that's what's happening अहिले पनि नेपालमा पनि. Speaking from काठमाडौँको कन्टेक्स्टमा चाहिँ अब 5 बजेपछि त मेलै लाग्छ ठाउँ ठाउँमा. अनि yeah, it's because people, they don't know what to do in a pandemic. They don't know what a pandemic actually is. So they don't know how to react. So which is understandable, but at the same time, I don't know that it's a strange time. That's all I can say. I hope we all make it in one piece out of this.
Yeah.
Speaking about your producer life there right now, of course, your time you're working, life and everything. So how much of a change are you seeing in your pattern of composing and arranging music at this moment?
It's I don't know. For me, I like taking breaks and stepping outside, and I still do that. But just because like Brooklyn, New York is like such a, especially even my mirror area, it's more like high infection rate work. So I'm really trying limiting going outside, and I think that doesn't help me. Like God, so I do try to go outside, but then it's always like, it's the whole thing. You have to put a mask on, you have to sanitize your hands, and you buy a parking bella, like you sanitize everything, wash your hands. And by like it's pretty empty, but people are, like very somber, and everybody's wearing masks. So it's just kind of a little bit depressing to going outside. But as far as workflow, like I don't know, I'm I'll have like a very productive day, and then a day of just doing nothing, just vegetating. So it's like flip flop by that sense. But I'm still getting stuff done, and writing more new music. Also, like usually stressful times, but it's usually for me I feel like it's a good time to write music. Like it becomes easier for some reason, I think, for me.
Yeah, I think when you're, but for me, because I used to go out a lot and stay out a lot, and now I have to stay home.
Yeah.
I think you come across more because you're with the guitar more. I've already written 3 songs for the next album and stuff like that. So definitely does help, I think, to a certain extent.
Yeah. Like I remember, like in a different context, more of a, when I was younger, like anytime there was the exam times, SLC, A levels, like final exam, that's when I would write like my best riffs. So somehow that stress would like push stuff out more easily than other times. I think this is like
No,
that times 100, right?
that's you trying to not study. That's what's happening over
Yeah,
there.
no. I mean, my Mira Amala, she had to like hide away the guitar from SLC. Right? So it was one day I came home and the guitar is Hennig, and where is it? I mean, you'll only find after the exams.
And your mom was a teacher in Pokharel too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can imagine.
Yeah.
I a lot of our musician friends, a lot of I think even mutual friends, I've started writing and are doing so many things. So I think your isolation sagi sagi pasi, everybody's gonna come out with like double albums and triple albums.
Yeah.
After all this is done.
Definitely.
It's like shifting gears. Like you've been busy even before the isolation and all this, when all the world came crashing down.
Yeah.
तपाईँले योभन्दा अगाडि पनि भर्खरै तपाईँले ढोका खोल भन्ने गीत रिलिज गर्नुभयो.
Yeah.
Fantastic song.
Thank you.
Again, your range is I think हामी musicianले त तपाईँको range थाहा पाइसकेका थियो because we heard about it, we saw it, and तर अब I think even normal people have started to, like laymen have started to understand that, wow, this man, यो मान्छेले धेरै कुरा गर्न सक्छ and stuff, right? So tell me a little bit about ढोका खोल, that song.
So that one, because your album, Matcha, like a lot of the songs are not very folky. So I want to have at least one song that sort of is like acoustic-y, folky, in that vein. So it was just the main riff that I had for a while. This is based on that. I mean, there's no other song that's like this in the album. And I'm not really doing any covers. Your album, it's all mostly original songs. I'm doing one of my songs that's my dad's song. The ढोका खोल, it's just like I had like a melody and I had that line, ढोका खोल mobile thing bitra, and then it was just a matter of building it up from there. I mean, the inspiration wise, it was more about consolation, consoling someone who's gone through like a really hard time. That's how I was approaching the song. So it's just because like everybody goes through like tough times, and the last couple of years have been like kind of hard for me and my family in general. So that was just like a way of coming to terms with like grief and things like that. So yeah, that was lyrically.
That's what musicians do. They put their music. I once Abhishek our underside told me the best thing. He said that our songs are just bookmarks of our life. I mean,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
When you go back and listen to the song, you're like, oh, iti bela esto bhai that, stuff like that.
Yeah, no, totally.
I think that's how you connect to it. The sound of that song, of ढोका खोल, that sort of country vibe, that the beautiful guitar snare sound. As a music geek, for me, I'm not a producer. I don't have anything with me. I am an unableton, so that's the software I have. It's so beautiful that, and you are doing this all at your home studio. there's a lot of aspiring musicians aba yati bela pani yo isolation ki bela who are looking at government recording garne,
Yeah.
and they're trying to use whatever they have at home to sort of get it started. Any advice to musicians who are making a home studio?
I think home studio, like, number one, you need like just an interface, I know, that will allow you to record vocals and guitar into the computer. And I think a lot of people have that. There's a lot of budget ones that have come out, and those are good enough to start. Um, so I would say the main thing is just to start and then do the best that you can do at that time. It might not sound like the most amazing song, but at that point, like, you just have to push your limit. I feel like never Coca-Cola production, like, it's like I couldn't have done that even like 3 years ago. So it was just like 3 years ago, what I was doing was the best that I could do. But then for the next song, you think of, okay, I did that, like, where can I go from there, and how can I make this sound better, or what more other programs are there, like, I think when you're starting, for me, it's a because it's so easy to get software, like, even if it's like cracked. So it's like you have like so many options. I mean, when I started, and I think a lot of beginners feel that like they have to know everything. And when I get questions about producing, someone's mentioning like, what plugin should I use, like what program should I feel like that's like a trap that's very easy to fall into. It's like, because now instead of thinking about what you want to do, you're like spending time researching all these other programs and all this stuff. So I think like you should stick to one program, whatever it is you decide to learn. And for some people it's Logic, some people Pro Tools. Pro Tools is a little bit harder because you need like a license. So you can't really crack Pro Tools. That like I started with Ableton like long time ago, and I just stuck with it until I would just like commit to learning one program and just take it one song at a time. And I think that's the main thing. Like, you need to have like project based development. And so like you'd only learn so much by doing a song. And then, like, once you do a song, then you learn so much because you find so many problems. And then it's more linear. So like then it's like, okay, I have this problem, you Google that problem, and then you find that solution. And it's just like little by little you just add to it. And the main thing is that, and it should be fun, basically. At the end of the day. So I would my advice is just to like just do a song, whatever that might be. It could be very complicated, very simple. Like when I started, I just went straight for the really complicated kind of stuff. So my old productions are like I put like hundreds of tracks, not hundreds, but like it was like always like 100+ tracks. And that was like, I think it was like, it was, I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. But for me, I thought like that was the way to do it back then. But but I think it's easy if you start with the less number of tracks, and I'm moving towards that spec. Yeah.
It's an evolution, basically. If you
Yeah.
think you can get a master's degree when you start something, that's not going to happen.
No, exactly not. Yeah.
The whole process of learning is the joy, is the
Exactly.
experience.
Yeah. Especially now, because this is the age of information. Like for me, like I don't think I would have learned anything if I'd gone to recording school, because I just am not that kind of personality who learns well in like a school environment. So I had to learn by myself. And right now there's so much knowledge online that you could get. I mean, the main thing is finding the right tutorial video, which, I mean, there's like, we write a book on that. Like, because there's so many tutorial videos. Yeah. And because a lot of times it's like the wrong information, or like they just take 10 minutes to give you like 30 seconds of information there. So it's and also like finding like what kind of instruction material like really makes sense to you. मलाई अब जुन चाहिँ नि भिडियोहरूलाई if I find that really informative, if I show it to someone else, they might find it really confusing. So I think just finding the right people online who are like posting videos regularly, and then you find one or two guys and then you just follow them. And I think and the same thing, like you don't want to keep flip-flopping between all these different people. In the beginning, at some point you can, of course, like choose like different styles and techniques.
And then you can find your one, and then sort of.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I think that's a very, very important thing, because growing up, like I'm like recording, but there was no, we didn't have any mentors or anything. Like the closest thing I had a mentor was Ayurveda, like the studio where we recorded at. Like they were sort of, but back then I had no interest in recording or producing or anything. I just wanted to be a guitar player. But now that I think of, I'll just start sort of like remember small things they would say or do. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's good to find like some kind of mentor. But that, you doesn't have to be someone it can just be some random guy on YouTube who's making tutorial videos.
I know. You should start doing tutorial videos.
Yeah, I know, but it's a lot of work, man. It's editing. I need someone to do it. But I've been thinking of doing like just like a live stream. I think that'd be the easiest. Where I could just go through tracks and just take live questions instead of because once you start making tutorial, then it's like I don't know.
You have to start feeding it and doing it and everything.
Yeah. It becomes
like this is an honest question, right? Like I am the same, like how you felt 10 years ago. I feel like I just want to be a guitarist and a vocalist, and I want to leave that part to you and to other producers who know their stuff, right? But now I've been getting lately this feeling of, maybe I should know more. And a lot of that came from when we sat together to make Tara, and you sat there and you heard it and you said, "Mare tabla suni rasu," and you got on the machine, and then and things were happening in front of the screen that I had no idea how they were happening. So and like you have this way of materializing what you're hearing inside your head. And that's one of the moments I realized that's such a beautiful thing. If you can, like, there's so many sounds that as musicians we hear in our head.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
And, well, for me, I think you that experience was one that made me go like, if I make a home studio, I think I'll hit you up.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, for me, that was also like learning to record and producing. It was more like a necessity, because when I moved to New York, I didn't have my band anymore, and I didn't have like, in Ayurveda, it was like Mike Parker, the drummer, he did all the recording. So when I came down here, I didn't have anything, like anyone to like, in New York, it's also like really expensive to go to a studio. So that's how I learned basically doing it myself. And like you said, like you hear, as like anybody who does music, at some point for not every song, but for some songs, you'll have like, oh, like I want the drums to esto bhayo huntyo, and I want your part ma stop garne, your part ma maybe there'll be more guitars, your part ma less guitars. You have all these ideas, but you don't know how to express it. So it's easy if you learn how to do it, then you can do it. And then sometimes you'll be like, okay, that was a bad idea. You can go back. Yeah. Or sometimes, you'll be like, okay, that's exactly what I was hearing. And those are one of like the best times you can have as a musician, as a producer. Like,
and sometimes when you're fiddling around, you just figure out something that sounds better than it was in your head.
Exactly. Yeah.
I completely agree.
Yeah. No, yeah. I think at this point, like everyone should, like invest some time just doing basic recording, just to hear back ideas and stuff like that. I think.
I've downloaded BandLab mobile.
BandLab. Yeah, I can't do the mobile recording. I tried long time ago. It's just, it's really confusing for me.
By the way, before I go any further, if anybody gives me shit why I'm wearing shades indoors, remember my eyes are in self-isolation and quarantine too. There we go. So moving on, coming back to what's happening in the world, about everything that's going on. First of all, were you staying in Brooklyn, New York? Has the rate stopped? Has the rate dipped of the contraction and everything?
I think today's news was like the death toll was still like the highest it's been. It was today, I think about 700 something, 70 people died. But the rate of hospitalization has decreased. So, hopefully this is like the start of a downward trend. as far as infection and death and stuff like that. But it's like we're not going to be back to normal for a very long time. I feel like until there's a vaccine, it'll still be like. I mean, it's still like a long ways away. I feel like to get back to normal.
Yeah.
New York, especially because we rely on the subway and public transportation, like ekdam heavily. So I don't know how that's gonna work once this quarantine is like eased a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a few very anxious few days even after this is like few weeks, few months even after all of this is over.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like months at least till like in next year. I feel like it's gonna be tough until they find but who knows, like they might come up with not a vaccine but like a way to prolong, not like to slow down the infection. They're trying a lot of things. I'm keeping up on the news, so like I'm reading the news like crazy every day. Yeah, it's
what doesn't help sometimes being on Facebook and social media is all the ridiculous news and clickbait news that comes across. That doesn't help at all.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Now it's like if I just have certain sources that I read, and if it's not those, then no matter how tempting the headline is, I just don't engage. I think that's the best
that's what they want.
Yeah.
They want your clip. Yeah. You have to stay safe. You have to stay indoors. Don't get out of your studio.
Yeah. Pretty much that's what I'm doing.
So what's happening in the future? Like, what are you looking forward to? What are you making?
I'm still releasing songs from my album. I think I have like 3 or 4 more songs to release, and then the album will be fully released, and then I'll put it on Spotify and all those Apple Music, all those things.
Okay.
But there's going to be a lyric video coming for the next song, and a music video for one of the songs that was actually written by my father. So we made like a music video for that. Just trying to like decide like when to release that, if it's now is a good time or not. But I feel like I think it's it's okay to release music.
I think it's. Have I ever told you the best compliment I got was from your father?
Oh really?
Yeah, he told me when I met him after you left. I told him I'll send you the link of the song so that you can hear Tara. And he heard Tara.
Oh, okay.
And the next time I talked to him, he said, "Mala ekdam ramro lagyo." And he just said that much, "Mala ekdam ramro lagyo," and that was enough for me. That's the best compliment I've gotten.
That's good, because he's not complimentary unless he really likes stuff. So that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. But
no, I mean it's a really good song, and the performance is really good too that you did, because that was pretty much the first take, or like I think the second take, first like 1 or 2 takes that we did.
Yeah, I didn't actually. I didn't even know I had a throat polyp. I hadn't even been diagnosed.
Yeah.
I think you left, and then I think a week later I went and did the endoscopy, which is hell. And that's when they found the throat polyp in my throat. So yeah, now it makes me kind of wonder. Yeah, it was when I hear that song, I can hear that little bit of tension.
I think it adds to the. Well, I think I told you in the, like that. There's like a roughness that adds to the.
You told me, and you told me that Satish Dai, because I did a take on. I did a take on Anubhav as well in Kripa, where I still had that was very hard to do because my surgery was 1 week after that.
Oh, wow.
And when I went to listen to it at Kripa, Satish Stapit Dai was there, and he heard it and he said, "Don't you dare get the surgery. You sound so much better like this."
That's intense. That's rock and roll.
That's rock and roll. He was good. So the next album that you're coming out with, fantastic. I'm looking forward to all the music that you make there. And again, this everything that's happening, everything that's going on is kind of overtaken our lives.
Yeah.
All we can do is stay safe, stay home. People are looking or watching this video, viewing this video. Please stay home, right?
Yeah, that's very important to stay home for yourself and for others. You know, that's a big thing.
Again, I don't think like Ailepani, I see people walking around and stuff without wearing masks and everything. I don't think people are like, unless the alarm bell starts ringing, siren badna baje samma, I don't think people take it seriously sometimes. I think that's a human trait.
Yeah. I mean, even in a place like New York, and like that's supposed to be one of like the most. I mean, there's like all kinds of people here, but even here, even up until March, go first week, some people were going on subways. I had to go to Manhattan for one of those days, and it was still packed. And by then I had my hand sanitized. I was still sanitizing my hands, but people were going, business as usual. So I think it's just a human thing, and I don't know. I feel like also just finding ways to educate people about something. And I think that's like more geographical and cultural, like how you approach that. Kasari sikaune. Because there's a group that I'm following, and they have like a lot of PSAs, like public service announcements and posters. And I hope they help a little bit. But I think it's just ultimately like if it doesn't happen to you, then it's a lot of it's just in the distance. Yeah.
It's a lot of it depends on what information you get.
Yeah,
what's happening and everything.
Yeah, clickbaits.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah, but it's the people who are working on the front line, the medical personnel. I have a friend of mine who is in Michigan, in Detroit, who's working in one of those hospitals. And when you hear people in America saying that we don't have enough gloves or enough kits, it makes me wonder कि नेपाल में के हुन्छ यार, just
yeah, no,
makes me.
Yeah, I know. I'm like always like just like I have like so much anxiety about that. Like Nepal ma ke this ke bhairachha ke hune, like because you don't really hear much news even oile pani, like phataphuta sunincha like they found another person who was infected, but so yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping, of course, that like it's not as bad, and also I'm hoping that like if it does get bad, it'll be like late enough that there'll be some kind of medical solution by then.
Yeah, I never thought we'd be talking medicine on the rock show and everything there, but
yeah, crazy time over Zoom.
Over Zoom, yeah. It's a strange time. Strange. We'll talk about this if we live through this. We'll have stories to tell our grandkids. I mean, your Nepal generation died from load shedding to earthquake to Nakabandi. Now this.
Yeah.
It just. I feel like I've lived 30 years in 2 years or 5 years now. It just feels a very long life now.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah. Let's come back to music then. And we'll wrap things up. Sure. We talked about music production today. Let's talk about the singer, the artist, Diwas Gurung.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of times so you've become such a great music arranger extraordinaire in demand for such artists that you've produced, and I think you are predominantly a reason why also a lot of artists have done well in the last 5 years, because had they not found you, you would not have been able to accentuate the positives of all these artists that you found. But I want to talk about the artists that you how long do you practice in a day?
Practice. The guitar. It comes and goes. Actually, since the quarantine started, I've been playing a lot of guitar, practicing my scales and all my licks, picking, alternate picking, sweep picking, like back to my shred days, because shredding and like really like intricate guitar playing, that's like my comfort food. So when shit like started getting really crazy, I just listened to my old like guitar albums like Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. I just listened to them for like a whole week, and then I was like, okay, all these songs that I tried to learn when I was younger, maybe I should learn them now. And it was much easier to learn now than before. But yeah, I've been playing a lot of guitar this past few weeks. Apart from guitar, like I don't really practice that much. I should be practicing vocals more, but that's not something I just naturally go towards. So because some people are just like really great singers, like for them it's just natural, like in the morning just start singing, and for me it's more, it's always guitar is number one. Yes.
Which guitars do you have there?
Well, I have a ton. I don't know if you can see. It's kind of messy. So there's a bunch of guitars there. I mean, I don't have too many expensive guitars. I usually like to buy cheap guitars and modify it and upgrade parts or upgrade garne. I do the fret work or so over the years, like production, I've like learned little things about guitar maintenance and fret leveling with it. So yeah. But the thing is, I have a lot of guitars, but they all are very different. Like they all do a completely different sound. So I have a Les Paul copy that has the Les Paul sound. I have a Strat that does the Strat sound. I have a hollow body that's the hollow body sound. Especially when I'm producing, it's or even for my own music, I think having the difference of tone come from the guitar itself instead of like effects or changing amps and stuff. I think for me, I'm just I'm a big guitar nerd, so I have all kinds of guitars. I have like a fretless guitar. I have like a one with like a whammy bar. That's my shred guitar.
You have a fretless guitar too?
Yeah, fretless guitar. I have it. It's back over there.
I can see it hanging. Yeah,
it's hanging over there. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason why they called you Himalayan Alien, and people didn't know it yet.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I can't. Like that was back in. I mean, the way I play guitar, I think it's like pretty old school as far as like shred guitar. Like the new school of shred guitar is very different than what we grew up with.
Yeah, I know what you mean. When I play with my guitarist in ASM, his guitar playing technique is so 21st century rock. Can I say that? 21st century shredding.
Yeah.
And ours is so 20th century shredding.
20th, yeah. 80s, 90s, 80s shredding. Yeah.
Like his is so clean, and he's doing all these, and I'm like, God damn, this is.
Yeah.
Good. But yeah, I know exactly what you mean. This is it's good to talk to you during this time. I think it's good to talk to anybody during this time.
Yeah. No, it's like all day it's me and my wife, so it's nice to talk to other people.
Well, I mean, thank you so much, for your time. Please, just you and your beautiful beautiful Bauju, who I had the pleasure of meeting. Of course, the Rungs, you band together with her. People who are watching this, go follow the Rungs, RUNGS. Follow that as well. I'll put the link down in the description as well. Thank you so much, Lai. I think it's a pleasure to know you, and I'm happy to say I'm gonna put Tara next week in all the streaming devices on Spotify and everything as well.
Awesome.
So thank you for Tara as well, Lai.
Yeah, of course.
It was a blast coming together and doing that. And it's a blast being here on Zoom.
Zoom.
Which is not the safest app, by the way.
Yeah, so I heard. Yeah. All these things are coming out. They probably had no idea, like what's going on.
What are you gonna do for that? What are you gonna do? It is what it is. Thank you so much, Lai.
Yeah, thank you.
Please stay safe there, and do come live from time to time. Facebook, Instagram, we love that.
Yeah. Of course.
And next time you come online, I'm gonna tell you to play some Steve Vai.
Oh yeah, of course. Anytime I'm excited to play Steve Vai.
Thank you so much, Dai. I'm gonna wrap this up. Again, this has been the Rock Show with ASM, or the virtual Rock Show with ASM this time. Again, my eyes are in self quarantine. That's why I'm still wearing the shades. And this has been Diwas Gurung. His story during the time of self isolation and days of the COVID-19. But we'll pass through this as well. Just stay home, sabajana. Haath se mazale dhunu. And every time you go out and come in, make sure you even dispose the clothes off and put them for wash. And just, I think if we're careful, I think we can beat this.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You'd be alert. Yeah, be alert and.
Absolutely. You've been in self-isolation for 2 weeks. So
more than 2 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks now. Yeah.
You've done the right thing. Like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dai. Tere dhanyawad, Ajay.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Until next time, this is the Rock Show with ASM, and I'll see you when I see you.